I'd like to call the Board of Public Works and Safety March 16th, 2020 meeting to order. Let's have our stand and Brian Dobb will lead the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would, please make sure your cell phone ringers are off. And let's move on to roll call.
Brian Dobb.
Present.
Mike Bishop.
Present.
David Nutty.
Present.
Jim Barrett.
Everyone has their meeting for the March 2nd meeting minutes. Do you have any additions or corrections?
Motion to accept.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Move on to new business. I just broke the first rule of the meeting. Don't touch your face. You know how hard that is to do? First thing I did. Wow. Mr. Flum, requesting permission for a banner behind for the Kiwanis Pancake
Yes.
Breakfast.
Our Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast, our annual breakfast, is currently scheduled for May the 2nd. We haven't made any decisions with the new rules that have come down from the CDC. We may be changing that, but I don't know yet. That just came down, yesterday?
Well, we have new rules coming in place here at about 2:30 today, so the governor's going to be addressing us at 2:30.
Okay,
with new
anyhow,
rules.
we'll wait and see what all happens. But on the assumption that we have our pancake breakfast, we would like permission to hang our banner on April the 20th for 2 weeks. Our breakfast is on May the 2nd, same day as Derby Day. Of course, it may not be a Derby Day either, or a mini marathon either, for all we know. So that's what we'd like permission to do, and take it from there. And it's an all-you-can-eat breakfast. I forget the price. The tickets are out.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You too. Rich Young, requesting permission to use the city-owned courthouse parking lot on Monday, 25th for a car show.
My name is Rich Young. I'm the president of the Rodfathers Car Club. I'm from here in Connersville. Covers central Indiana as well. Every Memorial Day, we have a car show at the courthouse parking lot to honor our veterans. And by the way, most of our club members are veterans, including myself. We always have 100+ show cars, and it's always been a great event so far. Cars come from all over central Indiana, and the nice thing about it is they buy food, they buy gas, they give us a little bit of money, and it's a good time is always had by all. By the way, that the spectators are free. They don't cost anything for spectators. Everyone is welcome to come. We do a lot of things for the community. We donate to charities. Our main charity is American Cancer Society. After our car show last year in the park on Labor Day, we sent them a check for $1,800, and we're pretty happy about that. And we've done a lot of other charities and things over the years. And this club actually has existed since 1977. Under different names, same bunch of idiots that doing it. But one of the things we did last year, the local museum requested our help. They said, "We know you have a lot of people there." And I said, "Yes, we do." They said, "Can you get them over to our museum?" I said, "I'll come up with a plan." So I had tickets printed down at the print shop that said, one person could go in with a ticket and, so on and so forth. The museum is free. The tickets are at our club expense, but they said free on there. But this is what came out of it. 103 people from the car show went over to the museum. They donated $177 in total. And the museum sells some items, and they sold a total of $118 to the people that came over there. That's the biggest one-day event they've ever had there, as far as attendance and making money and such as that. And, of course, we're always proud of our accomplishments, and I think that's one of them. We would like to request a courthouse parking lot on May the 25th. And that's what we've always used for that show in the past. We always make sure everything is under control, the music's not too loud, everything, you know, we're not kids, so, you know, we don't misbehave too much. The date of that is May the 25th. And
What time does it start?
it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. And of course, any time that we have an event anywhere, the park or the courthouse, or whatever, when it's all said and done, it's cleaner than what we got there. You know, we always pick up and make sure everything stays clean.
What time's it over?
I think it's 3, as I recall. The award ceremony is at 3.
And since that's Memorial Day, it won't be used by anyone at the courthouse or.
There's we've been doing this for a while, and nothing's going on that day because it's on a Monday, but it's a holiday. The train station's not operating, you know, none of the businesses are open, the courthouse is not open, and we rent a porta potty for those special needs.
Have you
So,
ever had any issues with parking before in the past?
no.
Okay.
With parking, is that what you?
Yeah, parking for the visitors that are coming into the car show.
I mean, as far as the room,
You're using the lot for the
We-
cars.
yeah, we use it
correct?
all, yeah.
So where's everybody that's coming in, where are they parking at? I mean, they.
just up and down the streets and stuff.
You've never had any problems with
No.
parking? Okay.
No, we've never had any issues. You know, the biggest part of them is, you know, go right there in the parking lot, and a lot of the spectators are local people, and they just walk over, you know, it's generally a nice day that time of year, but occasionally, you know, the people come down and, you know, they can park along Central or, you know, Fifth Street or, and there's plenty of room over there. We've never had any kind of issues of any kind, actually.
We don't know of anything else there, correct, on that day? Never has been. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the Godfathers,
Rodfather's Car Club, yeah.
Rodfathers,
Yeah, I am the Rodfather, by
Yeah.
the way, just so you'll know.
okay. Permission to use the city parking lot, southwest of here, for the 25th car show.
I think we need to also make that pursuant to the CDC and the state guidelines that are coming
Well,
forth, because if we can't get over 50 people, I mean, let's go ahead and grant him the permission to be able to use the lot, but,
Gotta come down to an executive order
Yeah.
anyway, so it
Yes.
doesn't matter.
okay.
We're just granting permission to use the lot.
Yeah,
I think Rich will keep in mind the
yeah,
different restrictions that the government might put on, but we'd
Well-
like to think by the 25th of May that things will
I'm one of those guys that always follows the rules, so, you know, I try to do everything in advance and make sure everything is together like it's supposed to be, and, you know, so on and so forth. And we always follow the rules, and you know, if anything should come up, then we can deal with it one way or another.
Yeah,
And
it comes
that's
up.
2 months out, by the way, and I suspect the boogeyman will be gone by then.
I'll second
Well,
that motion, Your Honor.
Yes and no. CDC's in 8 weeks, so, but we can make changes as time comes.
I stand with that
So
motion.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
If
Appreciate
something
it.
changes, I'll keep you.
You're all welcome to come over. Mayor, you're welcome to donate a trophy if you'd like and have mayor's choice. You come over and select the car you like the best.
Will I get to burn the tires off of it?
Well,
If I pick it,
that
I
might
get
be
to burn it.
arranged,
Thank you.
so be happy to have you. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, moving on to C. Carol McQueen requesting permission to use City Hall parking lot for the drug take back on April 25th.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Carol.
Good to
Carol
see you again.
McQueen. I'm here representing the Fayette County Drug Coalition. and they're requesting to use the back parking lot, the north parking lot, to conduct a drive-through drug take-back on April 25th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Did this last year and collected about 150 pounds. Drug take-backs are a common and environmentally supportive venue to avoid improper disposal of drugs. And this year, they're also going to take vape pens. Been back in the detective division for a little over 2 months, and I can tell you that vaping THC is a problem in our community. So I want everyone to know that if you find a vape pen that your child has, that you can turn those in this year.
What time do you plan on doing this from?
9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
I like that you do this. I bring mine down, the unused ones, to your lobby, but it's good to do this because we encourage people to not flush them down the toilet on into our river.
We also don't want them diverted for illicit use too.
Correct.
So it actually serves two purposes.
It does.
And it seems like the elderly folks really like the drive-through.
Yeah.
Pick it up from them.
Convenient.
Especially now.
Yes.
No interaction, very little. Any other questions?
Motion to approve Carol's request.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item D, Jackie Hill, American Legion Auxiliary, have permission to conduct a bucket drive on May 16th. Your notes say the second is the 16th.
It is?
So it's the 16th, sir?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Jackie Hill. I am Second Vice President of the American Legion Auxiliary and Chairman of the Poppy Fund for our veterans. Some of the history of our American Legion is, if you've ever noticed, we are post number 1. We were the very first post in Indiana when they were starting to build up the American Legion. Our unit is the Reginald Fisher Building and American Legion. Reginald Fisher was the very first World War I veteran killed in service, and so every post in the United States is named after their very first World War I veteran that died. So that's just a little of extra history for you. We are a very veteran-first organization. We love our country, we love our God, but we love our veterans because without our veterans, we wouldn't have our freedom today. And they're slowly being forgotten. Right here in Connersville, in our nursing homes, the 4 nursing homes, we have 45 veterans. Now, these veterans get so much money from the government, their Social Security, their veterans benefits. But one gentleman in particular that touched my heart and I've kind of adopted, he gets $32 a month spending money that he can spend however he likes. Well, his carton of cigarettes is $38. He can't even buy a full carton of cigarettes for his enjoyment. He doesn't have money then for a carton of Cokes, a box of snacks, things that we all take for granted, they don't have the money for. So the American Legion has a poppy. You have a little informational thing in front of you there. These little poppies, we don't go around saying we're selling these. We go around, these are donations. 100% of every dollar you give goes to the veteran. This year, the money we collect here in Connersville is going to take care of our Connersville vets, the nursing homes, the hospitals, inbound veterans. If they have a need, they have money to get that. If they have a want, like a carton of Cokes, a carton of cigarettes, they don't have the money for it. How can we go through life without having some wants once in a while? That's part of our character. They should be allowed to have money. So what the American Legion Auxiliary does is we ask for donations to go forth and get special items. Christmas time. One gentleman in particular at another nursing home has no family, no money. So there's a lot of people that donate for him because we love our veterans and we want to make sure they have Christmas, Valentine's Day, July 4th. David, you can attest to your brother at Hickory that at Christmas, the auxiliary went through and one of our girls found these beautiful blankets that had the name of their service, the Navy, the Army, whatever, and they presented each veteran in the nursing homes a blanket for Christmas with their military insignia on it. A lot of that came out of our own pockets because the Poppy Fund did not have the money to do it. So us auxiliary members, we pull money out of our own pockets because we want to see these veterans taken care of. The Poppy itself has a history of Flanders Field in 1918. There was a big drive. I think you've all heard of it, like Normandy and all those. Well, the one surgeon taking care of our soldiers looked across, and the poppy fields were just unbelievably red. And he just looked at that, and he thought of all the blood he had seen shed through his work. That's how the poppy came to be our emblem of. But the other significance is the red for the blood that they bore in our freedom fight. In the middle is a black little center thing. That's for the grieving, the black of the grieving of the families back home giving up their loved ones for our fight for freedom. The green stem signifies the life that they left behind to be able to take up from where they left off at and to bring life back into the veterans back home. So that is the history of the poppy. We are requesting May the 16th to have a not a fundraiser, got to wash my mouth out with soap, but a kind of a boot drive asking for donations. And many of you in this room have already just opened up your wallets already, and we so much appreciate that. Every penny of that money will go to our veterans. We all work on a volunteer basis, so no money goes out for the hierarchy of the organization. Anybody who would be interested, I'm sorry, if you don't see any of us out when we're doing, you can send donations to the American Legion Auxiliary at 902 Eastern Avenue here in Connersville, and just make attention Auxiliary Poppy Fund. And that will get put into the Poppy Fund that is used only for that function. Right now, we're looking at a lot of changes going on. All this virus stuff. Well, you think about our veterans, homebound, nursing homes, hospitals, it's going to get rough for them. And we need to be sure to be able to help them. Let's be taking care of our veterans. They gave so much for us. Now, anybody have any questions?
Don't have any.
Do you have any motions to approve? No, I do have one thing, though.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you get with Brad Coulter, or Bonnie at the street department.
Yes.
Make sure you're following all the safety requirements that we're going to set forth on Pumpkin Drives.
Yes, sir.
Include intersections. So do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
And all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I'll be standing back here with our can. Anybody else wants to chip in? You guys make the example to the city that you guys are donating. So thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for the work you're doing.
Item E is going to be canceled for now. They all work at doctor's offices and cannot get away right now, so I'm not for sure what we're going to do with that one. On item F, approval of resolution, I'll let Rosemary go over.
Resolution 2020-03 is a transfer within the fire department, taking $3,000 from improvements to medical exams.
Do you want to take the other resolution also? Under letter H? No, I'm sorry.
We'll just,
One at a time.
one at a time on this.
I'll make a motion, we approve the transfer request.
I'll second it.
We have a motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. G, approval of resolution 2004, Rosemary.
This is the invocation policy.
Oh, I got the wrong order. I'm sorry. G, I guess I should read the whole thing first, shouldn't I? What this is the invocation policy that we're going to present tonight at council. We're just gonna approve this pending, the results from the council meeting tonight. That's basically what that is. So we've had the resolution, you've had a chance to read the policy. Is there any questions on that?
I think it's very well written.
Thank you.
Well, it was written within the guidelines of federal, right?
Yeah, I wanna explain it really in detail tonight.
Okay.
Basically, if you want a short synopsis of it, we looked at the federal model, and our policy follows the federal model to a T, and everything in the federal model was also approved in Supreme Court. They've been tried and approved in the Supreme Court, so we're pretty confident in that. So basically, everything in our model mimics theirs, and it's been tried in Supreme Court and approved, so.
I need a motion to move this to council.
No, we just need a motion to approve it pending the hearing tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve this.
I'll second.
We have a motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Mr. Coulter, where'd you go? There you go. Approval of the resolution 2005 utilities local contract.
Howdy.
Hello?
I'm Brad. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I was going to give you a short summary of the major changes to the agreement. We had a pretty successful negotiation. Mike was there with us. It's a 30-month agreement, gets us back on a regular rotation like everybody else, year end. This agreement will end in December 31st, 2022. So some of the highlights of it are, it develops a water apprentice program. There's I think I spoke to you about that before, that there's a program that the Alliance has where they'll pay most of the wages for a training period of a new water operator that we're gonna need sometime in the next couple of years, so.
For the first 2 years.
Yeah, they pay most of the wages, we pay a little bit of the extra around the edges and the benefits, so. Also, the retirees starting July 1st, 2020 will pay twice as much as they were paying before on their share of the premiums. The retirees share the premium.
Is that for just new retirees?
That's for retirees that are after that date, July 1st, 2020. Anybody that retires will pay double what the people that have retired before that date have been paying. The HRA account will go from $950 a year to $1,200. Most of the pay increases in there are in specialty pays, and we got those in areas where that encourages people to get training, and in particular to keep their CDLs current and to get their certifications that we need with the state. We've only got about 4, maybe 5 of our employees that have those now, and I think that the increase that we put in there will encourage more people to get those.
Gotta have them for you, water and sewer.
Yeah.
It's required.
And the other language changes that you saw in there, in the highlighted copies that you got, were all where we had settled grievances and things and made agreements over the life of the last contract that were just added in as part of the agreement this time. So, did anybody have any questions about any of the
There was one, what appears to be just a typographical error on page 10, where it mentioned the water plant department all throughout, and then at the very end, it talks about the water department. So it really probably should have said water plant, so pending that change. Also, I really like the apprentice program. As you know, I've been a trainer since my retirement from utilities. I've been a trainer, and we're losing operators. Sometimes as much as 50% of operators will leave in a year. I know at Conniff Utilities, we lost, in retirement, we lost 6 people, all of them with 35 years or more of experience. So we've got to get this education and training. So I appreciate yours, and I appreciate members of the union approving that.
The funding from that program comes from the Indiana Finance Authority, and it'll likely pay $60,000 or something thousand over that 2-year period in wages that we would have had to pay. And that'll allow us to get somebody locally trained to be an operator, where under present rules, we'd more likely have to hire somebody from out of town.
During negotiations, this was one issue that both parties was excited about putting into place because we need it, there's no doubt.
It's not easy to get either.
No.
These certifications are very difficult, not easy. So, any other questions?
Make a motion to approve the contract.
We have
I
a
would,
motion.
I would second that,
We have a
pending the typographical correction.
Yeah.
We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay.
Thanks for highlighting it in red for us.
Yeah.
Made this easy. to find.
I'd like to take credit for that, but we got a guy that
Just leave
does
it
it.
alone, right?
You might as well just stay where you're at.
Okay.
This is the approval for the contract with like Klein Peter Consulting, the water main project for the Okra grant.
Do you have a signable copy? I wasn't sure if you got that, or if I brought one just in case. That looks like the same thing I have.
It's probably a good idea to have 2 copies.
Okay, well, I brought another.
If in his name, you can have mine if you need it.
So,
I don't think mine is signed, it's not real.
So this is the agreement that will allow us to go for another $600,000 grant from Okra. 2 years in a row now, we got a wastewater grant first. Last year we got a stormwater, and now we're going for a water. So if you agree to, this is the contract with Mike Klein Peter. He's done a great job for us in the past, and
What area does this cover?
this would be a project in the EB Drive area to replace a water main, another area up on top of 10th Street Hill and Burton Street, and kind of runs back, kind of forks off there, 10th and 11th Street. And then there's a section of water main from 30th Street going north on Indiana Avenue, short section. So this is just in the beginning. Once we do this, then he can start working on the income surveys of those areas and all the regulation and formalities that he's got to go through.
If approved, will this go through quick enough to get the 30th Street item done before the state comes through?
30th Street water main replacement is not part of this grant
Okay.
because we couldn't wait.
It's separate, right?
it starts at 3rd
Yeah.
Street going north on Indiana.
It's likely if we get this grant, those areas probably wouldn't be built till next spring by the time we got through all the process.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion, Your Honor, that we accept this request for approval for contract with Klein Peter Consulting for the water main project for Okra.
A motion, and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you, man.
Okay, this
Brad.
next,
Can you make another copy? I needed 1 copy, one-sided. Diane will make a copy. Thank you.
On to J, this is gonna be a temporary agreement, I talked with Catherine about this earlier. For use of the Miller Building in case of a public emergency, Alvin Daly's gonna come, obviously he is swamped right now. Matt called, said he could come if we had to have him, but Matt is very busy as well. What this is this is really a park board decision that they need to make. But if something happens between now and next Monday night, we want to make sure that they are good. So this is kind of a temporary agreement till the park board agrees. What this is, they just want to use the Miller Building in case they have to set up shop somewhere to pass out, give shots, whatever they have to do in case of this outbreak and it gets worse. They just need a place where they can set up shop that the public can get to easily and it's big enough to contain it. Testing, whatever going to take place. But that's really kind of a park board decision, but we can temporarily approve it until they do, just because of the nature of the emergency. Is really what this is.
Catherine, you need to speak any on this? Okay.
So that's really all this is.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you, guys. Okay, approval of quotes for the mobile grant, Mr. Bolos.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
All right, the mobile grants, I'm just looking for your approval so we can finish up this grant process. The grants have already been approved. What mobile is allowing our officers to be more efficient out on the street in their vehicles. They can basically do what dispatch does for them, short of answering the phones. So they can do all their reports, accident reports, scan driver's license, whatnot, right from their vehicles.
Is there a match on this grant?
There's no match on the grant.
Okay, great.
Chief, is this going to be on existing equipment, or do we have to buy more equipment?
It's and we're in the process of that. It's with their laptops and car computers, which we've got several that have that already, and we're working to try to get the
Okay.
rest of them that.
That's fine, thank you.
I mean, ultimately, down the road, that's what we want to go with, so.
Any other questions?
I'll make a, go ahead, Dave, go ahead.
I'd make a motion that we approve this grant request.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Approval carried.
Thank you, Chief.
Sure.
All right, thank you. Just one other new business. Hopefully, Diana, put this on your,
She did.
in front of your desk. Just want to acknowledge Detective Gunder. He's been on the police department for 21 years. Did a fantastic job for us all the years. He's a trainer, diligent in his work, knows the law, and it's going to be hard to replace his experience and his years of service. He's retired with 21 years of service, and his effective retirement date is this Friday, March 20th. So I just wanted to bring him here so you guys all can thank him for his service, like we all will do. Like I say, he'll be a hard guy to replace. And also in saying that, I'm requesting that I start the hiring process to replace Detective Gunder.
Is that two different motions?
Yes. Need a motion to approve his retirement?
Let's listen to you.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve the retirement and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. And you're needing a motion to replace Dax with a new
You start
hire.
the
Start
start
the
the
process.
Advertise or what?
Question.
Yes, sir.
When you say advertise, are you gonna try to find somebody that's already been trained?
Qualified.
Or qualified through the academy, or are you gonna try to hire somebody that's not trained through the academy and train yourself?
Good question.
Yeah, glad you asked that. My intentions, because of our manpower situation right now, we have one in the academy, and now that we're losing Officer Gunder, I'm gonna try and find somebody that's already been through the law enforcement academy. That way they can go through our process here, and we can get them on the road quicker, where there's not even an opening for the academy until October. So, that'll be my first intention, is try to find somebody that's already certified. Feelers are out.
Okay. After talking with the chief, when I saw this too, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but he said that the employee has to be hired before you can actually line up a spot for the academy. Yeah.
Yeah, the rules have changed a little bit, so now we have to actually have them hired before we can reserve a spot, where in the past we could reserve a spot for an upcoming class, so, and we can no longer do that.
That's just good business now, really.
Yeah, so it's a little tougher to hire somebody now, it hasn't been through, so.
Either way, whether they're through the academy, I understand the reason for that,
Approving the hiring
but I want
process.
the best person for the job ultimately, no matter what. If you find someone who you think's better, best fit for the job, and they're not through the academy, I'm fine with that. So,
But that would also cause additional overtime for coverage, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
We're down 2 at the moment.
One for retirement, one that's at the academy.
Correct.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion, Your Honor, that we allow Chief Bowles to go ahead and pursue this replacement for Officer Dax.
Second. We have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And also,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to say congratulations to Officer Dax.
Yeah.
Job well done. Thank you.
Hey, Chief, remind me, I need a seat after the meeting too, please. Okay. Department matters, Mr. Coulter. What are you running, Dax? I was gonna embarrass you again.
Mike's up.
I'll jump in and do a report. If you don't mind.
It's all right. I get to embarrass you one more time, at least.
February monthly report, revenue disbursements. Notice, again, we're in the hole, but usually starts off that way due to a lot of the permits, our insurance payments, $26,000, our water permit, sewer permit, everything comes first of the year, so the claims, the most recent claims are back down to normal. It was like $68,000 in water claims, and it's been like $90,000 the last couple of times. So we should be back where we should be the rest of the year until towards the end of the year. Overtime, $3,526 in overtime. That went down basically because got past the holidays, and pretty much from here out, it will be due to basically coverage in after-hours leagues. Then I have work that the sewer and water departments has done. Also a couple of project updates. We've been talking about these items, but I took some pictures of some of the things that we're doing. I think the first is the chlorine gas to liquid chlorine. Those are the new tanks. Not quite operating yet. We're still waiting for the motors. It should be at the end of the year. These tanks replaced a 2,000-pound cylinder of gas. And if you notice, there's a little 150-pound cylinder sitting there in the corner. That will be removed when the bleach gets online. That's what we're treating the system with right now until the tanks get online. And we also need to build a retaining wall in case for leaks. But hopefully by the end of the month, everything's online and working. The next page is our wastewater treatment plant digester project. Kind of some of the steps we've been doing. We had to clean out the tanks, pour a foundation of concrete, lay rebar, another section of concrete, then the aerators was added on top of that, and this is the south, it's all running. Got the 3 blowers installed, they're all seem to be working, so right now we're doing very well. Hopefully everything's good to go at the end of this month, mid-April. But you guys, we talk about it, there's some photographs of kind of what it looks like, some of it.
Thank you.
Miscellaneous, Aaron and I attended the stormwater seminar in Purdue February 6th. We had union negotiations. We installed alarms at Third Street Booster Station in the storage building behind the Vine Street office. Also, the Woodside Water Tower was cleaned. That cost about $5,300. And right now, you might be seeing some claims the next couple of months. Aaron is trying to update the wastewater plant lab. So there might be some claims that looks a little different than normal on the wastewater side of it. But trying to update some of that equipment that's 20-plus years old in that plant. Any questions?
The Woodside tank, was that cleaned inside, outside,
It
or
was
both?
cleaned inside. It was pretty interesting, the camera. That should be done. We have a schedule to clean all the towers have been cleaned. But every 5 years it should be cleaned.
How many we have, Mike?
3.
3.
So they've all been cleaned in the past 5 years. This was the
Yeah.
last one. So then we'll put them on another cycle to do it again. So,
That's very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for the photos.
Yes, we're looking to approve the transfer of a vehicle from Connersville Utilities to Connersville Airport. What that is airport's vehicle. We have 2 that they use, one for the pilots, one for the commuters. They use the van for the commuters. The car that we use
Thank you.
is no longer safe to drive. How's that? It's the easiest way to put it. But instead of purchasing a different one, I remember there was I called Brad to say there's a car sitting over there. It's a nice car. It was Howard. Too much ass. Mr. Ellison's car. He drove it, took care of it. It's not. It's older, but it's in great shape. I called Brad and they could do without it. So they just use it for minor stuff. Correct, if I'm wrong. So the utilities willingly gave it up to give to the airport. So we just need approval to transfer that vehicle from utilities to Connersville Airport. Any questions on that?
The current airport vehicles that they have now, are those in the process of being sold or
Yeah,
getting rid
We're
of?
gonna
Or
get rid of just the one we're gonna get rid of.
thought they had 2.
The van is
They have a
shared.
van and a car.
The van's shared between EDG and the county and the airport. It's in good shape. This is just a car for the pilots to drive around when they get there. That's all it is. So it's a good car for that.
You just need a motion to transfer, permission to transfer. I'll make that motion that we allow utilities to transfer that vehicle from utilities to the airport. If that's
Second.
worded properly.
Motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Unanimous. Everything opposed, same sign. There we go. Motion carried.
Brad, can you email me the VIN number?
Yes. It's good that our departments are working well together.
Amen,
too, by
I
the
agree
way.
to that.
So that's a good one. Okay, Brad, new
Yeah.
trash pickup.
Yeah, we've got one, and I've got another one that came in since.
Okay.
One of them's for 809 Scott Street, one of them's for 803 and a half Western Avenue.
So the half, are they gonna share that then? Or are there 2?
Now, how you share a half a trash can?
Is it 1 or 2? I mean, you only have one per, I would just say it would be 1.
Can we bring it back next time?
Yeah.
Have better details?
Yep.
Good answer, Brad.
Because they should have 2 sewer
I
charges
would think
too.
there'd be 2 containers, wouldn't there? We'll find out next time.
Yeah, I'll have to check into it.
Thank you.
So we're just gonna go ahead and approve 809 Scott Street, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
The motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Why have they not had collection in the past? Do you know? 809?
I don't have any details on it at all. I'm gonna have to check into it.
Oh, it's okay.
This one just kinda showed up the last day or 2.
That's okay.
With about 60 other things going on, that wasn't something I jumped all over.
Yeah, that's kind of a low priority.
Approval
Brad,
of
you need
the,
that back?
and we're looking to approve the commercial service contract with Jericho.
What this is, while we've been working on these water grants, we came to the realization we were lacking in the personnel ourselves to go chase down easements and things on some of these projects as they pop up. And in the future, when we're doing more water main replacement, we need to have something in place to where somebody can go chase those, that knows what they're doing and can actually go in an efficient, timely manner, go find them. Because we all go over and chase them around and we don't know what we're doing half the time. It's pretty, researching those things is pretty field specific. So Jerry is somebody where we have a really good resource. So this was an agreement to get him to do some work. Also, he agreed as part of this that he would help us train somebody to kind of job shadow him a
That's
little
great.
bit when he does it.
Very good.
That we would have somebody to be able to acquire that skill.
We'll use him on an as-needed basis, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not gonna be a lot of hours.
No,
If-
I wouldn't
If
think.
we ever get into a deal where we're gonna use him for a lot of hours on one specific thing, then I'll come tell you about it first.
Okay, thank you.
I'd make the motion to enter in a agreement with Mr. Gobin.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Yes, sir.
I got a couple more things quickly. Bonnie wanted me to tell you that on the week of March 30th, that we're gonna give away compost with some of the good stuff we've got. That if people will come down, we'll have him coming down there on the loader where he can load somebody up a load if they want it. And this is stuff that he feels like is pretty good stuff.
Are you gonna limit how much, who can get how much, so someone doesn't
It's
hoard it?
never been a problem, I think.
Okay,
We've always
I didn't
had
think it
more-
was, but.
We've always had more compost than we had people trying to get it.
There's a bunch down there.
But he's really been working, this might be more desirable than what we've had for a good while,
Good.
because he's been working on making some good stuff.
Good.
Just a question on that. Do we use it here? I mean, for like in the parks, does the parks use that? Probably a question for Catherine, but,
For a long time, that stuff has not been anything anybody wanted to use anymore,
okay.
that they cared about.
If you're saying it's good stuff, I mean,
They're picking through it and getting some of the limbs and rocks and everything out of it and making sure that it's quality. Now, I'm not sure about this, they gave me a second day, the week of April 27th, but we'll wait and see on that, see how much we got left and whether it'd be worth having somebody down there, so. I just wanted to announce, if you want some mulch, go down there and check it out, if you like it, you can have some.
Put it on Channel 3 and newspaper and so forth, maybe on your website.
So, that was that. And then, I just wanted to tell you a little bit, are you gonna talk about this virus thing at length? And I just tell you a little bit about what we've done at the utilities. We let all our employees know that we're kinda trying to keep the departments separate. Everybody's kinda segregating a little bit, staying in their own areas and not crossing paths as much as we possibly can. And we passed out, good guidelines about keeping our hands clean and good hygiene habits. And we even started, there's no reason to think this is a waterborne thing, but we went ahead and started our disinfection at the wastewater plant a couple weeks early.
That's good.
It can't hurt anything.
Nope.
So that was just something, usually we would start that April 1st, but we went ahead and fired it up Friday, I think, so. Just to be on the careful side, I wanted to let you know, I reached out to Terry Craig up at Milton and Jim Hackworth at Everton, just to let them know we're here for them if somebody gets sick, that we can give them some backup. And that we would hope that they might do the same if we had any problems, so.
Okay.
We've been spending a lot of time working on contingencies, and I know that it's a little aggravating to people that we aren't open inside the lobby, but we're doing our best to serve people well. So far this morning, it's went pretty smooth. Not had too much problems, but as we get further into the week, we're in delinquent week, so we'll have more and more business, so we'll see how busy our drive-throughs get.
Things are changing daily. So just be patient with us. We are continually meeting over this with all department heads. I know I produced a video this morning, a 2-minute with the mayor, and within an hour of producing it, I called and canceled it because information had already changed. So I was gonna give information for tonight's meeting. I'll do that tonight. I'll do that here as well. And also the governor's gonna give a speech here in a little bit, so we have to just be constantly listening, attentive. We also have to be developing our strategies. Ultimate goal is protect our safety of our employees, our personnel. That is my number one goal, is protecting the safety and employee of our employees. So bear with us. If it seems like we're constantly changing, we are. I've got the governor's speech that he's gonna be giving, and things are ever changing, so we have to do up our own guidelines, but we also have to follow their guidelines. So the president's giving a speech, I believe, at 3:30, is that correct? So we got the governor's speech at 2:30, we got the president's speech at 3:30, so just please, be patient, keep in mind, we're trying to make decisions that doesn't hurt the community, but we also gotta protect our employees, so we wanna do what's best for everyone, and that's hard to do.
We have to be able to keep everybody healthy so they can come into work and provide the services that we need to the
That's
citizens.
right, that's right. So,
Thank you, Brad.
sir.
Thanks, Brad.
Have
Mr.
another
Bo,
copy.
Chief, you done with everything, or
So we
you
have
got more?
two originals.
Right, monthly report, Conroe Police Department had 972 February law reports, 14 citations, 4 ordinance violations, 3 warnings, 6 injury accidents, non-injury accidents 33, no fatalities. Traffic stops 136, and arrests made were 48. Also included in this report is our ordinance enforcing. Thus far for this year, it's 75 reported violations, 32 waiting for tickets, 30 tickets written, 4 properties where it was deemed wasn't a violation, and 9 properties waiting for photos. He included what properties is on here.
Appreciate that.
Watching it.
I was gonna ask that question, sir. These addresses you have here, are these delinquent, are waiting for action, or just all
Yeah,
the
what he
above?
has here, we're waiting for either tickets to come back or
Okay.
them to respond
That's fine.
back.
That's what I thought, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
John's not out there yet.
Out here.
Oh, there he is, where were you hiding?
John, sorry.
Playing it safe out there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For the month of February, we had 13 hours of meetings, 16 hours, 58 minutes of original programming. We did a great deal of basketball and doing away game coverage, and of course, we did the sectional coverage here as well, but covering all of those games in cooperation with ETC Sports. It was very successful.
Good job.
Have any questions?
Again,
you, sir.
I think your small staff does a lot for our community.
Thank
We really appreciate it.
I agree with that 100%. You do a good job, all of you.
Thanks, John.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All, both of them.
Chief Harden.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
You got my front sheet, kind of breaks down our mileage, our total calls for service. Monthly highlights, working on, actually it's already submitted, an AFG grant, which is Assistance Firefighter Grant, but EMS falls under that. You can see what we put in for load systems, 2 new cots. If we get that, that'll replace 2 that are 2009 models, which are technically outside their normal lifespan, which is 7 years. And 4 new stair chairs. That comes to about $120,000 worth of equipment, if we get the grant. Our part would be about 11 to 12,000, so. The other thing that kind of came out in February is we did have a meeting regarding possible paramedic program in the area. Can't really say where exactly, but there is a organization that is trying to start one, which is very much needed. At any one point in time, they're estimating 600 paramedic vacancies in the state of Indiana at any one point in time. The schedule and the education tracking program, we're up and going with that. Last thing is or not the last thing, but they're working on installation of the 3 overhead doors. Initial concrete is poured. Steel is supposed to be going up sometime later this week, no earlier than Thursday because of the cure time of the concrete. One thing I've learned is that with the contractor's time is kind of a fluid thing, so when they say Thursday, it may be Thursday, it may not be Thursday, but hopefully by the end of the week, so that they'll be back in. The only other thing that doesn't really fall in the month of February, but continuing to monitor the corona situation. Our building is now closed to visitors. We have not had to cancel anything yet. Everything that we've got is so far out as far as tours and things like that, so really haven't taken any action because it's more than 2 months out, so we'll see how that goes. I've worked with dispatch, I've worked with Scott. We've come up with some new dispatch policies for the interim to kind of limit and contain the exposure of providers, so that we don't end up with 2 departments quarantined, basically. Been working with Reed, communicating with them on a fairly regular basis, and then watching what I'm sure everybody else is getting, 20 to 30 emails a day on updates, and by the time you read it, you've got another update at the bottom that updates the update. Got my numbers, kind of an expanded call report in there, as well as the budgetary stuff.
Thank you.
Kind of at the end. Do you have any questions, comments, concerns?
Quinn, I do have one question. When you were talking to you and Scott, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you about this earlier, but do you have is there a plan in place in case something drastic happens? Say like if you do have to quarantine somebody in the first aid unit or EMS, can you split a department in 3? Can you go ahead, have you looked at splitting a department and maybe locating half of the department in one area and half of the department in another area?
No, I haven't. I think what we've done is the fire department responded on so much stuff before, we've kind of pared that down. I've also been in contact with all the volunteer fire departments that if it meets certain criteria, we're just not all rushing in. As far as splitting locations, I don't know on that yet. I haven't heard of anybody doing that. I would not rule anything out at this point. I think, like I say, this is so fluid that what I say today, what I say no, we're not gonna do today, may be the way of the world tomorrow, so, but have not approached that as of yet, I'll put it that way.
Maybe food for thought, think of.
So the nice thing is where we're at now, we're not on top of each other like we were, so it does spread everybody out a little bit, but.
You guys are frontline defense, you're the one that's seeing everything.
We can plan and we can write policies, but in the end, we're reactionary because, we don't know what comes to the community, then we have to deal with. So we can put all the plans in place we want, but unfortunately, we're a reactionary department. So that's the one downfall of all this for us. We don't know until it happens.
Clint, thanks for being proactive and contacting the other fire departments within the area and working well with them. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dan is not here. We are choosing to work from home, and I did not ask him to be here. Scott, our fire chief, Scott is home sick, and so that's where he's going to stay. He called me this morning, so he is starting to catch a little bit of a bug, whatever it is, so. Catherine.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Catherine.
Well, it's finally getting to warm up. We've had lots of plans at the park, lots of projects to complete, and then last week happened. So just to touch on a few things we're planning to get done over the spring and summer. We do have the dog park to finish. We have Park Road Shelter to finish. We have a new park to finish. Hopefully by the end of this month, that will be finished. We have a shelter at Frazee we're gonna build, and then we have a new shelter at Roberts Park that will get built, courtesy of the Lions Club. We also have the tennis pickleball court area to get done, so we're planning to be very busy. I don't know if you have any questions about the report I gave you, but I will touch on the COVID-19 for a minute. We also had a meeting, talk about hygiene, how to best protect ourselves. Fortunately, we're a department that we don't interact that much together. But unfortunately, we are the department that hosts most of the events, here in town. So we appreciate everybody's patience as we pivot with all the directions that are coming at us. We were actually working on a sheet today about this is, frequently asked questions, and we were responding, and it sounds like
Sorry to change.
we're gonna have to go back and redo that after 2:30. So we are working to get this information out to the public. I know everybody wants to know, will we play spring soccer? What's going on with baseball? Will we get refunds on our rentals? And we are working very hard to get that out, but we want to get the correct information out. And so right now, it sounds like we may need to wait toward later today now to post that kind of stuff, so.
Again, Catherine, it just goes back to what the mayor said, people just need to be patient with us.
Yes.
Because the way it's changing, they just need, we're asking for your patience, please.
Yes.
It just makes it more difficult on you.
So right now, the Miller Building is closed to the public. If you do happen to have a rental key, if you have a sports registration or something that you want to get to us, please put it in our drop box. It's just to the left of the front door of the Miller Building.
Okay.
You can mail it to us, or you can call our number and we'll just come out and take it from you and you can on your way. We are not renting any facilities. The date had been April 13th. I'm not sure if that's going to change now today. So, and anyone who had something scheduled at the park between now and then, we're contacting you today. So, if you did rent something and it's not gonna happen, we will get you your money back. But the sports are probably foremost on everybody's mind, and we just don't have answers to those just yet, so.
This is a very good report you
We're
put
going
out.
as fast as we can go.
Very thorough, very explanatory, it's very good.
Yeah, we have lots of things we wanna do. Probably the most, obviously we want everybody to be safe and healthy, but it's frustrating when you had so many things you were just ready to go get done. And then for anyone who did not already hear, toddler time is canceled on Friday, or next Friday, and spring break camp is also canceled. We are not able to have that.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Only old business. I do have something I want to discuss in old business. Friday night, I announced, that we were going, by executive order, we were going to limit public access. What I mean by that is just that, is we're trying to limit the amount of public access to protect our employees. Is really the motivating factor behind that. Rosemary has one person who does payroll, one person who pays the bills. If they get sick, I imagine a lot of people will want their checks. So, we're trying to protect City Hall, we're trying to protect our fire stations, like families are not to go in there anymore, it's just firefighter personnel, utilities, we're trying to protect our employees so we can still provide quality of service. Because if people get sick and go home, we don't want to start shutting down, that's the last thing we want. So, the motivating factor behind that is not to try to restrict the public access, but to protect our employees that we have. So again, just please be patient, bear with us, because that is ever changing as well. With that being said, for tonight's council meeting, that is going to change. Like I said, I had a video produced. We were getting ready to hit the play button, and I called Justin, I go, stop! We have a new order coming out here at 2:30. We are going to have to set the limit at 50 people in here. That is the max, that's the order getting ready to come out from the governor. There was a recommendation by the CDC last night, we were kind of ahead of it, we thought, well, if they don't do anything, we'll keep it, we'll leave it alone. We are still gonna have our public hearing. The 50 people also includes city council, members of the media, so it's going to be please just bear with us. You can't stand outside, I can't control that, but we do have to limit the number of people in this facility, this city council area to 50. So that's going to be tight, so just bear with us. If we have to filter people in and out, that's then what we'll have to do, but it'll be a process. Please be patient as we work through the process. This is a first for everybody. Are we gonna get it right? Probably not. So, just please bear with us and be patient, but we are going to have to count people as we come in. If you are sick, if you are feeling sick, please don't come. If you have something you wanna say, please find someone else to come say it for you. That's the last thing we wanna do is, spread it even worse, so. And if you are showing signs, we will have the first responders here, and we're not gonna let you in. So if you're coughing, you're sneezing, you're not getting in. But that is through the declaration that was given Friday night as well, so, please, just bear in mind all that. Miscellaneous business, is there any miscellaneous business we have? Okay. Claims, Mr. Bishop.
Claims for utilities was $162,748.78, and just, this is a combination of water, sewage, and stormwater. Accounts payable was $63,750.96, and payroll was $524,553.43.
Any motion to approve the claims?
I'll move. Second.
Any motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Public forum, anyone from the public have anything to say? Okay, take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Dax, sorry, get up here.
Yes. Right now.
Wow. I told you I was going to embarrass you. I am. Please inform the public about you, your career, years of service.
You still
all
like
that
heat,
good stuff.
man. Be careful.
People like to know.
Yes.
So, as maybe some of you don't know, I'm originally from Richmond, Indiana.
We're sorry.
We'll forgive you for that.
I was hired down here on February 6th, 1999, under Jeff Locke and Ellis McQueen. I went to the academy pretty soon after that, obviously. I've been afforded several opportunities, anywhere from senior instructor, certain other certifications underneath that. Actually, I'll use the term loosely, gentleman over there actually brought me onto the SWAT team in 2004, which I consider one of my greater accomplishments, because it's a team, it's a camaraderie that you build with guys that do things that I don't want to say your typical police officer does, but you know, the guys on the street, they do amazing things. I've worked with a lot of amazing people throughout the years. I'm gonna miss my guys. It's tough. I've been through a lot of administrations, some good, some better than others.
I hope I'm on the other end of that spectrum. Notice he didn't answer that.
I still have a few days left. I've made a lot of good friends.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's going to be the people I miss the most. So the jobs, you know, the times are tough now. Like I said, everything's always changing. Law enforcement's gotten tough. The guys that are going to come on today, they've got a heck of a job ahead of them.
Yeah.
I want to thank each and every one of you for giving me the opportunity to be down here for 21 years. And,
thank you.
there's always the future.
We thank you.
I enjoy the time I've gotten to know you from January. It's been good. And I do just want to get a picture and say thank you for your service to Connersville. Chief, you want to?
Thank you.
Come on, chief.
Paper, he's always doing it.
Come on, council, everyone smile in this picture.
Wants to stand up or get out of the way? or-
No, get squeezed in there. Come on, come on.
I'm out of the way.
Oh, come on, come on, Jim.
Stand up. Can
Oh,
you
no,
get,
come on.
you want standing up, Darryl, or sitting down?
Yeah, stand up.
Is that too much?
Can't see David.
Can't see Rosemary either.
Now I can, okay. Okay.
That was David.
Oh, it's the last time I get to embarrass you.
That's all right.
Congratulations. Thank you for a job well done.
Congratulations, thanks for your service.
Enjoy your.